Welcome to a special edition of the Academy. This one is a little bit. I'm going to make it very short. It's going to come out the same week as a regular Chapter 6. It's just that I wanted to make sure I wanted to touch base on some of the other codexes. When you look at the concept of indirect attacks, Genius of the Occult, like I said in the last one, Academy, is probably the epitome. Very, very good representation of indirect attacks and allows you a lot of capability. But let's look at some of the other codexes. Now, I don't know all the codexes. I don't know all the rules for all the different factions. But I do know some. And so I'll just focus on the ones that I know about. I try not to talk where I don't have some knowledge of what's going on. So Imperial Guard doesn't really have a lot in terms of a lot they can do in that space of indirect attacks, unfortunately. But wherever you can secure the outflank ability, that's your really only option for indirect attacks. Now, having said that, you do have a very, very risky deep strike maneuver with coming out of the Vendetta with some of your the units transport in it. I don't know if that's really technically an indirect attack because you don't really get to choose where you're going to, anywhere on the board. You basically have to fly the unit, the Vendetta or Valkyrie, I forget which one it is, in a certain straight line, and then along that line that's where you deploy. Well, that limits you into where you can really drop. So it isn't really good representation of an indirect attack, but the outflanks are. And there are some, I know there's some special warlord traits in some, like the Imperial Armor Codex and other places, where you can actually get the ability to do outflank. What it usually will do is, I think it gives you the infiltrate special rule on some units, and so of course with infiltrate comes outflank, and so you can use that. Now you have an indirect attack available to you. So Astro Militarum, Imperial Guard, not very good with that. On the other hand, you look at Space Marines, and they've got it very well. The Scouts have Scout, which also grants outflank. Boom. Drop pods and Terminators you're deep striking in, there you go. I mean, that is true indirect attacks, because you are coming in from an unexpected direction. You can't know ahead of time where they're going to come in. You can't see them coming. They simply appear, right? Now, when you look at a deep strike unit, there is one aspect of deep strike that people tend to kind of forget about, and they try to just think in terms of Right. Now let's go to the Tau Codex. This one is probably the next best example of indirect attacks. Now, I don't know why they didn't showcase what they call the Rignon method of attack, which is encirclement. But you have a lot of opportunities for deep strike and outflank in that codex. The Kroot can infiltrate and outflank. The Pathfinders can scout, which means they can outflank, which allows their transport to outflank. They've got the infiltrating stealth suits, which can also deep strike. So outflank or deep strike. XV-88s and Riptides can deep strike. Okay, Ghost Kills can do. So you got a nice mix, a lot of units that have this ability. And to take it to the next level, they have the homing beacon, which also the Space Marines have, but they have a positional relay. That one piece of war gear is probably the whole reason that this codex comes in my book second place as far as indirect attack capability, because with that positional relay, you do not have a random which board edge do I come on. You come on the board edge of your choice, as long as that relay, your positional relay, is within 6 inches of a board edge. So if you put in a corner, whether it's your board edge, 6 inches of your board edge, and 6 inches of the left-hand side, you choose which of those two board edges to come on. So your indirect attack here could actually come in and support against some of these deep strikers that came in and surprised you turn 2. Or if you put that positional relay, and again, this is great if you put it on a unit coming in from reserves, you can walk them in, outflanking either side, and start it in the opponent's corner. Now, any other units that have outflank can choose to come in off the opponent's board edge or the side that homing relay is near. That is amazing control over where your reserve units are coming in from. Now, granted, you don't have a lot of high power units coming in reserve, but still, the fact that you are bringing in units from an unexpected direction, especially from their own lines, that is very disconcerting, and that is a significant indirect attack. It puts the opponent into a dilemma. So another good codex for that. Orcs really only have 2 options for this. Now, ignoring the teleporta, which is available, and I'm not knocking that at all, don't get me wrong, but it's a pretty expensive unit, and if you use the Gazkul Thraka supplement, it can be, that army that's kind of expensive. So just stick with the basic orcs. Your buggies, which can outflank, your Def Coptas, which can outflank, and your commandos can infiltrate and outflank. There is your opportunity there for your indirect attacks. Now, the cool thing about the infiltrate on the commandos is they get a bonus to their cover save until they move or shoot. So you can actually put them a little further forward than you normally would want to. I wouldn't say keep them in the open, not suggesting that, but you don't have to worry so much about them being attacked in their infiltrate state. So you might want to start them on the board. But still, coming in off the side with flamers on the buggies and flamers in this commando squad, you can lay a lot of hurt on an opponent that's close to the edge. Again, indirect attack from the side instead of from your back edge where normal reserves come in is an indirect attack. All right, Eldar. Wow, there's a lot of opportunities here. Your striking scorpions, your swooping hawks, warp spiders. Warp spiders are another really good indirect attack guy because they can reposition with that webway jump generator jump. They can position very quickly across the battlefield, and that sets you up for an indirect attack, right? Very, very good there. So not as good as a Tau in my opinion, but still very good. I'd say that's a 3rd codex. Close, comes in close. It's almost a tie with the one I'm going to talk about in a minute. But the Eldar will, you'll have the ability to deep strike the, like I said, the swooping hawks, which is very, very good. The fact that when you have these jet bikes that can go basically 48 inches across the table, that is a huge move. So that is very indirect if you think about it, because you're in one part, and then instead of shooting that turn, you simply go to the other end of the table, and now you're set up for the attack on some other position. You're attacking from an unexpected direction, potentially one the opponent's not ready for. So jet bikes are a great way of exploiting this indirect attack concept. So very, very good there. And of course, they have a lot of deep strikers. I want to add to it, you think about it, you have the, what do you call it? You have the Wraith Knight, which is a gargantuan creature that can deep strike. I don't know that you always want to do that, but again, putting that in a position where it can do a lot of damage, surprise the opponent, put the opponent into a position of a dilemma, okay? You can deep strike it, for example, in a position where, in order to charge in, the opponent has to go through difficult terrain, so they're always going to go last. That's a way to protect them in that one turn of deep strike, so that you can charge them. Of course, move 12 and then charge, ignoring that or escaping that terrain, and getting your initiative 5 attacks off first. So, a lot of goodness there. The Dark Eldar Codex is another one that has a lot of indirect potential. Again, they have their fast skimmers, so that's a 12-inch move. It's basically 18-inch move flat out, so that's 30-inch reach. So they can reposition pretty well. Blow a turn and reposition to threaten a different quadrant. Very good there. All the transports and the Ravager as well can all deep strike. Very important. The Webway Portal, a non-scattering Deep Strike, that's fantastic. You pair that up with anything. The Scourges can Deep Strike. They will come in and they can pop tanks. Not necessarily the best way to do it because they're all grouped together, but still it's something they can do. The Mandrakes can infiltrate or, of course, outflank. And let's see, I can't think off the top of my head the other outflankers you've got in the Dark Eldar Codex. But anyway, that's a lot right there. So, again, depending on how you use it, very, very good for indirect attacks. So, the last one I'll touch base on is Tyranid. Now, until recently, Tyranid only had really the Lictor as an ideal, I wouldn't call it an infiltrator. He's I guess he's a good indirect attack because he can set up and be hidden. You know, you only snap shoot at him. That's a pretty good indirect attack unit right there. And then from that they had the Trigon, the what do you call it, the Moloch and the Raveners. They can Deep Strike. You can buy Deep Strike on your those Ripper Swarms too. Okay, so there's a little bit of it there. But once they brought the Tyrannicide in, now you got some real serious indirect attack capability. Again, deep striking again is the way they're doing it. Comes in, and you've got a potentially monstrous creature coming out in this unexpected direction. And of course, Genius Hitters is that they always have been able to outflanking, coming from the sides with rending attacks galore. Very dangerous, forcing your opponent into a dilemma. Do I shoot at those, or do I focus on the other threats that I've got? You may lose Gene Stealers, but I'll tell you. Sometimes it's worth it because if you pose a significant enough a threat in their backlight with this outflanking move, again, that's the whole point of the indirect attacks. It allows that frontal attack to make more progress. So, Tyranid actually have some pretty good options. So, now, sorry I can't speak to the Chaos Codexes, either of them. Can't really talk to the Necrons. I know very little about them. Trying to learn more. They got a couple Deep Strikers in there too, but discuss below. Let me know, how do you see some of these indirect attacks playing into some of these other codexes? Okay, all right. So I hope you found that helpful to open your minds up to how does indirect attack line up with different codexes, and let me know. All right, share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Academy. Bye bye.